y'all. Okay, so I'm going to be making embeds for my no coconut recipe, which is my lard and my palm recipe that doesn't have any coconut products at all in it. I had a friend whose son-in-law has an allergy, so I created a recipe that doesn't involve any coconut at all for people who have an allergy. And I have actually changed out my table protector down here, and we're going to be making Love Spell. I'm calling it Loving This Spell. I've already started off by putting some of this color in here, and I'm going to leave these here and this until tomorrow. I made this last night. I'm trying to see if it's firm enough yet. It might not be quite yet firm enough to mold a heart. It's not. No, it's not ready yet. Okay, I've waited now about 36 hours. It's been more than 24 hours for this to come thick enough to work with. And it might be because I stirred it and I didn't stick blend it at all. So now I'm back and this is thick enough to work with. It needs to be malleable. My goal is to make these hearts, hand mold hearts from this. I don't care how wide I get them because they mold the areas, but they need to be within an inch so I don't cut them off. I only want them an inch this way. I roughly formed this into a heart just now. I've got a paper down here and I have lines drawn on it and they're about an inch. So this is what I'm making. I'm going to be making some smaller ones too. I probably really only need 6 of these things if I get them right in there, because they'll go between the 2 areas where I'm going to cut them. And they are kind of big. They'll go inside. I don't want these hearts to be quite as big. Basically, you're just working with them with like Play-Doh, like you did when you were a kid, making different shapes, using different tools. Back of my spoon here to get a little bit of more of a point. Use my fingertips to make a little tip like that. I'm going to push them together. Stay within the 1-inch mark. Work with them until I'm happy with how they look. And I realize the bottom of this will be sunken into the soap a little bit. I'm filling some of these in here. So basically I divided out 6 more of these things to make 7 of those in there. Now I've got this left over and I'm going to form them into heart shapes. And I'm going to get 6 of these. I'll leave these in there for a little bit and I'll remove them later. When I make this soap, you'll notice that the attachment that I have has a different color on between it. It has white on the inside of it, so there'll be a thin line of white instead of black from the other. Now, the stick blender that came with it, the cord is not as long as the black one, and they fit each other. The attachments fit each other. But with the cord not being as long, I need to use the longer cord. So the rubbing alcohol definitely speeded up the process. On the other hand, it might make this stick better. A few of these I'm going to make on the opposite side, just to make them a little different. Little spoon, chompy chompy, bite, bite, womp. To get, that right there. Play with it until you get it to where you like it. Oh, and a tip to make it easier to work with is sometimes you can have a little bit of water to spread across your embeds that you're working on, but I was too lazy to go in the other room to get some, so I'm finding it much easier just to use your 91% or 99% rubbing alcohol. It, number one, helps smooth it out. It helps quicken it to get a little harder, a little quicker if it's too soft. And it helps the two stick together if you have two that are you wanting to stick together. So instead of water, just use a little bit. Put a little bit of rubbing alcohol in some kind of container, just a tiny little bit, and get it on your finger and just smooth it over. And that will help smooth it out. This will work with anything you're trying to hand mold. And I think on this one, I'll go on live on the other side. And I got to try to get them within that inch. So what I'm doing is I'm making basically a heart shape, and I'm putting them down here on the paper, and I'm pressing my thumbs together against this to form a little point. And I'm pressing this down, and I'm trying at the same time to form it into keeping it on the 1 inch, yet remaining, making it an elongated heart design at the same time, and coming back and pushing it back into shape when I accidentally push it over the line. So basically I'm just pushing and molding until I get it to fit in the spot that I want and get it to be the shape that I want and the smoothness. The rubbing alcohol is helping to smooth down any little cracks that are forming in the soap. Now I'm not really going to make a piping batter for this thing. I'm going to make some white, and I might fill it up with the other colors, leaving the white for last, and then waiting a bit and pipe the white that I already made with the regular batch, because I want it kind of flat, but I want white on top between the swirls of color. When I put them on there, I'll alternate between different sides, and that's why I'm doing 4 of one and 3 of the other. Put that right there. And my last one. So, thumbs together, pinching it, forcing it between, and then fingers are in that spot, coming down like this, pinky onto there, pushing it to elongate it, keeping a heart shape, pushing it until I get something like that. Now I'm putting it down here, and I'm realizing, well, too big. Okay, let's move it. Push it some more. And I'm pushing and pulling it basically until I fit it into the area I want it. I have is a piece of paper inside a Ziploc bag, and I can wipe it off afterwards. And the same with this. And remember, it needs to be on this side. So I need to push this one in rather than taking it off. And I need to work that down. I have the coconut version of Love Spell called Loving the Spell. It is in my Etsy. It smells like Victoria's Secret's Love Spell. This is the same thing, but with the different batter. It doesn't have coconut in this one. And when I make these bars, when I make them on Saturday, they will be ready to wrap and get onto Etsy 6 weeks after after I cut them. So that would be 6 weeks from this coming Sunday. Here I am getting ready to remove these right here, the pink ones. So I'm just kind of pulling and tugging at the mold a little bit, and then I'm pressing on the back of it just ever so gently to remove them out. Itty bitty heart. Okay, here we have the embeds. These little ones right there that I formed in the mold will go inside. They'll be going on either side, alternating. I might purposely, do opposite on each side to try to get opposite to this. Like if I had pink on this side, that it would have the pink one on the inside and the other one on the other side. And okay, bye now.